United States Senate Subcommittee on Immigration estimates that Hillary Clinton's plan would mean roughly 620,000 refugees from all current refugee-sending nations in her first term, assuming no cuts to other refugee programs. The subcommittee estimates her plan would impose a lifetime cost of roughly $400 billion. In short, Hillary Clinton wants to be America's Angela Merkel. True.
All right, that's the best line, I think, of the day from Donald Trump in his speech. But I think also it goes beyond the financial cost. I mean, Europe is lost. France is lost. Germany is lost. Soon Italy is going to be lost. It's just over in those countries as they used to know it. Joining us now is Allyn Root. He is a former vice presidential nominee on the Libertarian ticket for president, and also best-selling author whose latest book is Angry White Male: How the Donald Trump Phenomenon is Changing America and What We Could All Do to Save the Middle Class. There it is on your television screen. Hello, Wayne. Good to talk to you again, sir.
Hey, Steve, and don't forget, the tagline you always got to use is Allyn Root, the fiercest defender of Donald Trump in the country.
Well, you know, that's a whole other issue. I'm worried. I'm worried. I take heart in the fact that Dukakis was up by 17 points at this time when he was running, but you know, he then went on to make major blunders and destroyed himself. And I don't know that Hillary. What more could she do? She's almost you know, almost a certified stamped criminal, and still she's leading. So I don't know what's going to happen here. But let's move on.
Wait, let me give you two quick answers to that, though. Two very quick answers. Number one, everyone is so fretting over the polls. It depends which poll you pick. There are polls that show Trump down 10 and Trump down 11 and 12. And there are tons of polls that show him statistically tied, important polls. Rasmussen, Bloomberg, USC LA Times poll, 1 down, margin of error 4, he could be 3 up. And number two, what could happen between now and the election? I think Hillary is a very ill woman. I think she's got very bad health. I think she may fall at the podium. She may faint. She may have a brain seizure. And there's a good reason why she's sick. The kind of stress she's under when you're pushing skeletons back in the closet, and she knows what WikiLeaks has in their hands or Russia has in their hands. And any day before the election, between now and November, someone's going to let out an email that's going to send her to prison. I'm telling you, she has a reason to be in poor health.
Well, you know, we will see. I mean, I certainly believe there's a health problem, notwithstanding the fact that I was on Reliable Sources yesterday, and Brian Stelter went way out of his way to criticize my friend Sean Hannity for talking about that and bringing it up. I mean, I think it's certainly a legitimate issue. Absolutely. All right, let's talk about something that you and I were talking about before we started this segment off the air, and that is, you know, how Donald Trump, again, the media will harp onto anything and run it for a week rather than talk about legitimate Hillary problems. And they were, Trump said that Obama invented ISIS, he started ISIS, and then it was sarcasm, then it wasn't sarcasm. Oh, but you pointed something out to me about what Obama actually did start, is directly 100% responsible for.
Yes, and don't forget that Hillary bragged she's the third term of Obama. So anything you could blame Obama on, you can blame Hillary on. She will perpetuate, she will expand. So what did Obama really create? I don't know if he created ISIS, but I know Donald's right that Obama's policies and Hillary's policies as Secretary of State led to the creation of ISIS. That's all. I'm sure that's all Donald meant. He didn't mean that.
Sure.
He didn't mean that Obama was sitting there with the ISIS leaders planning it, but he certainly enabled it to happen. But more close to home, the Democrat liberal policies of Obama and Hillary created Chicago and Detroit. And if you keep up with what's in the news, and I know the media doesn't want it to be a big story, but the reality is in Chicago, last Monday, 9 people died. A week ago today, 9 people died, the most in 13 years in one day. They were shot, meaning they didn't die of cancer, shot and killed, homicide. And in the week between last Saturday and this past Saturday, 120 people were shot, almost all of them black or minority, almost all of them shot by black or minority. There's no Black Lives protests. There's no rioting. One cop shoots one black kid, the entire country is on fire. But 120 shot and 24 killed in a week in Chicago because of Democratic policies in a town that's 100% Democrat liberal ruled for over 50 years, same as Detroit, and they're in the exact same shape. They are Middle Eastern hellhole war zone disasters like you'd find in Kabul or Baghdad in the middle of America, Chicago and Detroit. And this is created by Obama and Hillary's policies. And if you want to vote for Hillary, then you're looking for the whole country to be Kabul.
Absolutely. And one more, of course, you mentioned you alluded to the riots, which the media won't call them riots, in Milwaukee. And that was a black cop shot a black armed male suspect who wouldn't put down the gun. That is, I mean, to riot over anything is unacceptable, but to riot over that, and so they're talking about how, oh, you know, this is the worst place in America for a black person to live, et cetera, et cetera. It's just, Barack Obama had an opportunity over the weekend when he was playing golf to get out of his golf cart and say something about it, to stop hunting down whites, which is what lots of black people, the rioters in Milwaukee, are doing, and he chooses to say nothing.
Well, here's why I wrote a book called Angry White Male. It comes out August 23rd, by the way, so just about a week from today, it'll be out. And the point of the book is exactly that. Obama has held press conference after press conference every time a black kid is shot. What do they all have in common? Maybe they were all innocent. And maybe the police officers were guilty of undue force. Maybe those kids shouldn't be dead today. I don't know. I wasn't there. But it seems to me in every single case, there's one thing in common. They all have long criminal records. They've committed a crime, even if it's minor. They have committed a crime, which is why the police were stopping them in the first place. Same thing in Milwaukee. And then they don't listen to police commands, and they either run or they attack and they fight the police officer, or they mouth off at the police officer. And all of those are ingredients to get killed.
Yep.
All of those are not taking personal responsibility. Someone with a long criminal record that gets shot by police, I'm sorry. I don't feel bad. I was raised by my middle-class parents to never commit crimes, never talk back to police, never do anything that would get me pulled over by the police in the first place.
Yeah.
So I don't have any pity for any of these situations. And yes, I am angry, and I have every right to be, because Obama doesn't call a press conference when white people are killed by black people, and he sure doesn't call a press conference over thousands of blacks killed by other blacks that I personally feel very bad for. I think there's black genocide going on in this country, blacks killing blacks, and we have a black president who couldn't care, doesn't give a flip, and it doesn't make much sense. Now, does it, Steve?
All right. Listen, Allyn Root, always good to talk to you, sir. Again, folks, the book coming out in just a week or so. It's called Angry White Male. Thank you, Allyn. Good to talk to you.
Thanks, Steve. God bless.
All right, you too. All right, folks, I just want to take a moment and welcome our Newsmax TV viewers on JLTV. That's channel 366 on DirecTV. And Howie Carr, radio talk show legend, who joined the Newsmax TV family this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern with his Boston-based show, The Howie Carr Show. You'll see it weekdays at 4 p.m. Welcome aboard, Howie. Great to have you here. All right, folks, I want to point out a story, okay, before we take a break and then come back. There's a lot being made today that Paul Manafort, the director of the Trump campaign, CNN's going crazy with this, the left is going crazy with this, that he took $12 million supposedly from, I think it was from Ukraine, and the New York Times did a front page story today. And here's the deal. The New York Times wrote that story today. Now, by the way, coming up in my Gimme 5, you'll see clips of me. I was on CNN's Reliable Sources yesterday, and it was about media bias as it relates to the coverage of this campaign. So Paul Manafort, they're saying, and he has said, no, I didn't. Okay, but that's not good enough. They're saying he took $12 million from Ukrainian officials, blah, 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 in bed with Russia. But the New York Times wrote that piece today and ignored their own April 2015 piece that detailed a $500,000 payment to Bill Clinton for a controversial speech in Moscow. According to the Times' own reporting, among other donations, the company's chairman used his family foundation to direct a $2.35 million donation to the Clinton Foundation. Under Hillary Clinton, the State Department was also among the agencies signing off on the Russian takeover of what had been a Canadian company. This is a company called Uranium One. It was a Russian investment bank, links to the Kremlin, that was promoting the stock of a company called... This is a whole big conspiracy, not conspiracy, but a whole big connected Russia, Clinton Foundation, State Department. Bill Clinton gives a speech in Russia. Nothing. Nothing. Paul Manafort, he's the bad guy. And he says he did nothing. He took no money. Okay? So that's the coverage. That's what Trump's going to have to overcome to win. And he better start overcoming. All right, more of your calls, and give me 5. Don't go away.